In this video, we're going to quickly go over some practical examples of how you can use a AI-powered scripting editor to help you with your Blender Python coding. If you're new here, I'm Victor Stepanov, and I love helping artists learn the Python programming language. Now, if you are an artist and you want to get some help getting started with Blender Python, I have a 100% free course on my school community. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment down below so you can quickly get started with Blender Python today. Now, if you're not sure about what is actually a AI-powered scripting editor, well, basically, if we have Blender open, there's a scripting workspace that you can start working in and editing some code, and you're running it and just doing everything inside of Blender. Now, there's something called an IDE, or a integrated development environment, that allows us to make editing code simpler. For example, if you have multiple files that are that you need to execute your add-on or script. So a scripting editor is just taking the scripting editing part out of Blender and putting it into a separate application to allow you to quickly work on scripts that are maybe a bit bigger than what you would work on in the script editor. So one of those examples is VS Code, and I have a number of videos on this channel explaining how you could go about editing code and working with Blender side by side. One of the things that VS Code has is a built-in AI assistant. It's called GitHub Copilot, and there's like a button. If you get one of the latest versions of VS Code, there's going to be a button right here at the top that brings out this window and allows you to work with an AI coding assistant. Now, it is a premium feature, but there is a free plan, from my understanding, that allows you to have some free credits to do autocomplete and chat with an AI assistant. Today we're going to be going over another editor, which is called Google Antigravity. It's basically a fork of VS Code. If you don't know what a fork is, it's basically taking the existing code that VS Code has and modifying it, building on top of it to provide something new. So we're going to be taking a look at Google Antigravity. And to do that, to get started with it, you would need to go to antigravity.google. And it's going to look something like this. So you're going to see this. I'll also leave a link in the description to this if you can't find it. You'll just download it to your computer, whatever platform you're currently on. Mac, it is supported on Mac, Linux, and Windows. So you would get that, install it. As soon as you launch it, it's going to require you to log in to Google. So go ahead and do that. If you don't have a Google account, I think it's pretty simple to create one just for this occasion. Okay, so when you have that all ready, I'm going to show you the first example. So I have Antigravity here running already. I've opened up a folder which I'm just going to use for this example. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to create a script that's going to add 3 cubes in random locations, right? Very simple, right? And I think it's a good example to start with. So I'm going to type in right here. There's actually a couple of modes here, a couple of options that you could toggle with, that you could use. One is kind of planning out what you want to do, but I'm going to use the fast one that just kind of generates the code. There's also a way for you to select the models that are going to be executing your request. Now, when you're doing that, when you're using different models, you're going to get different results. So something that you can experiment with. So I'm going to ask it to create a Blender Python script that adds 3 cubes into the scene at random locations. So that's basically the way that you interact with it. You tell it commands. Actually, you can probably talk to it. I've never actually used that, but you could, if you don't want to type, you could use that. So let me hit that, and I might fast forward this so you don't just sit around. It basically starts analyzing what it wants to do, and look at that. That was pretty fast. It kind of thinks where it is, and then it says, okay, you want to do this. And it generates the code right there. I'm going to make this a bit smaller so you can see. So at this point, it generated a function that adds random cubes. It has some parameters that you could provide an update, and it also did a really nice thing that hides this under name main. Separate discussion for another video. Now, I can just go ahead and just select all this code and open Blender. Now, I have Blender running here, and I'm going to open the scripting workspace. I'm going to hit new right here, and then just paste the code that we just generated a second ago. And let's go ahead and hit run. And look at that. We have 3 cubes. I'm going to take a closer look here. So we have 3 cubes in random locations. So it just generated what we asked for. That's pretty neat. So another thing I want to show you is there in VS Code, there's an extension that allows us to help to quickly iterate on scripts and kind of connect VS Code to Blender. Now, since Antigravity is a fork of VS Code, we can actually use this extension that Gianluca and the development community have been maintaining, which basically allows us to run our scripts and our add-ons extensions from VS Code. Now, to do this, I'm going to actually put that set up at the end of this video if you're interested, but I have it already set up right here. I think I can just search Blender. Yeah, so I have it installed, as you can see right here. So now I'm going to actually accept all. That accept all there is just saying that, okay, I like the changes that the AI has made, and I can actually iterate and say, oh, just change this, change that. I think you get the idea there. You could experiment with that on your own. Now, I want to launch Blender from here, so I'm going to hit Control P and Control Shift P, and then I'm going to start Blender. So I already have the extension installed. The instructions I'll provide at the end of the video. So I'm going to select Blender 5, and that launches Blender on another screen that I have. And let's see. Okay, so Blender has launched on another screen. Let me bit like so. And so I have Blender running, and without actually going into the scripting workspace, I could go ahead and hit Control Shift P, and then run script, and actually nothing will happen. That's because nothing will happen. That's because when you're generating scripts, the AI assistant will do this right here, which is a common way of organizing Python scripts and Python code. Separate discussion what that is, but basically to make it work with this extension, I'll just remove that and put that like that, then save that, run script, and then now that has added the random cubes. So that's pretty handy. That allows us to use extensions that are made for VS Code in this Antigravity editor. All right. Okay, for my next example, I am in a new folder. I've opened up a new folder in Antigravity, and I want to take the code that we just generated and create an extension that adds a panel in the 3D view and allows us to click that to run this function. So I have the code here, and in the chat window with the AI assistant, I'm going to create a Blender extension that adds a panel to the 3D viewport that has a button that runs this right here function, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually selecting another model here, and I am going just into the planning mode. So that allows us to see what it's actually going to do, like the tasks that it's going to give for itself as it's working on a request. Now I'm going to go ahead and start that. I'm going to fast forward this part and you'll see the end result, and we're going to discuss this. Actually, while it's working, it started to analyze the code, and it created a task, a list of things that it wants to do to implement what we requested. It actually also went ahead and created an implementation plan, going over the steps that it's going to be that it would need to do to implement this. So it's going to create a new init.py It says that it's going to create a new operator class and a new panel. So the operator is going to be executing our function, and the panel is going to be hosting the operator that will execute our function. And it says like you got to basically review it. Let's see, I'm going to hit open. It already opened, but let's see. Yeah, I think that looks relatively sane. I'm going to say sounds good. Let's see if it just continues. Okay, yeah, great. Let's proceed with the implementation. All right. Okay, so it's working on its implementation. It created in a .py file. One of the things that it is getting wrong right now is that it's using a legacy way to create the add-on, which is this BL info dictionary. And the way to do this currently is you have to create a special file for extensions. And I'm going to actually ask it to do that to kind of fix this issue. So I am going to request for it to create the extension toml file. Okay, so I'm telling it to instead of BL info, use the new Blender extension format that uses blender manifest.toml. So this is the new format that is supposed to be used after 4.2, I believe. So I'm going to hit enter. So it did something wrong, and it's okay. I'm going to tell it to fix that. So it's working on the code that's already generated. And I'll fast forward through this part as well. So it's doing some thinking, actually search the web to understand what I'm talking about. Since the models that are at the heart of this AI assistant don't always know the latest and greatest versions of like what Blender has in its API. And that's one of the things that having an agent that can look into the internet for assistance is really helpful, because it could take a look at the latest implementation of Blender Python and correct it, right? So really handy. Okay, it finished generating. One thing I don't like is that it kind of left this file right here. I think, let's see. Well, yeah, it just left it. So this is basically dead code. Maybe you want to keep it, maybe you don't, but I would prefer to just like remove it, since we're going to be using something else. So it did generate the Blender manifest toml. It has provided, I think, I'm just looking through the fields, that there's certain fields that you have to provide in this toml. And I think that is fine. It made up a website. Basically, if you would have this on GitHub, you could link that. That's pretty neat. Okay, so I'm going to accept all of this. And since I have, so one of the things I could install it from disk, point Blender at this and install this extension. But since I have the extension for Blender development installed, I can go ahead and launch Blender. And I think it should just work if there are no mistakes in that code that was generated. Okay, so I'm seeing how Blender's launching on my screen right here. And I think, yeah, it was able to do what I wanted to. So I have Blender running, and it should have added the panel right here. Nice, look at that. It has it has added a panel right here. So I just transformed my function into something that I can click in Blender. So I can do that. I have some custom cube settings. Let's see. Wait, what is it actually doing? So one of the things is, after you generate some code, you actually have to read it and understand what it's doing. You can, just from my experience, I've been using this for a while. You can use this and kind of, I don't care about what it's doing. But there's a certain point where you actually have to read it, because it kind of starts falling apart if you don't understand what it's doing. You might, kind of paint yourself into a corner where there's so much code that you weren't tracking what it's doing. And it would just, you're basically, kicking the can down the road of understanding what the code does, right? Maybe for some basic stuff, totally doable. Yeah, just do this. I don't care what it's doing. But if you're starting to build something more serious and that you're going to be using your team for your own workflows, right? Understanding what it's doing is really, really helpful. So make sure to do that. And you can actually ask it to explain different parts of this code if you don't understand it. So let's just quickly go over the code that it generated. So operator. So we have an operator, the thing that runs our code. So we have parameters. So this and this are basically inputs that this operator needs for us to generate, like how many cubes we want to generate, and the range. So the range is like from x, y, and z between which parts of the scene it's going to be using to place the cube into. So yeah, that looks fine. The panel generated all the fields. So this is the method that actually adds the panel. So it generates, it adds the label, the operator. Then we have the other, basically having another way of, let's see, does it do anything special? Yeah, I think it just, it probably didn't really need to do this. I just asked it for this particular part. And yeah, then we have the register and register of these classes. So basically what you would expect from a basic add-on or extension for Blender. Okay, for my next example, I want to use it to analyze some code that's already existing. So someone else's code, maybe you're interested in an add-on and a particular feature, how an add-on does something, and you want to reuse it or understand how it works. Now, I'm going to get an extension from the Blender extensions platform, and I'm interested, let's say, in the bool tool right here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that here, and I'm going to download the zip archive with the code for this extension. I've already gone ahead and extracted the code, and here it is opened in Antigravity. So I have the code open, and you can see that it's a relatively large extension. It has a number of files, icons, and so on. So if I'm interested in understanding, like, okay, what this add-on does, I could actually say, hey, what does this add-on do? And just go ahead and actually switch to the fast, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'll go ahead and speed through this as well. So just as it's working, I want to mention that it basically starts searching through the code and going through and trying to understand the structure and what this add-on does. And as soon as it kind of gets a good picture from reading and going and analyzing these different Python files, it starts kind of creating a summary of like what this does. So it's a bool tool, has Boolean operations and other things, right? It kind of lists all of this. And at this point, you're like, you know what? I am interested in the slice. So how does the slice work? Where is the code for this? Right? So I'm interested in a particular feature, and I want to go ahead and take a closer look and kind of make it search for that. This is really great for exploring big code bases and big add-ons that you're interested in, and getting a better understanding of how things work. Okay, it has finished analyzing the code, and it basically searched and analyzed the code, and it found some interesting parts of like what I was asking about. And so we have the create slice right here, and actually it highlights some code, and you can even click on this and it goes straight to that particular part. So you could explore the code base this way, and you can actually do some modifications if you like a given add-on and say, oh, you know what, I want to change this or that. And I'll leave that experimentation to you. Okay, for my final example, even though this channel is focused on Python. But if you're interested in understanding how Blender itself works, you can get the source code of Blender and open the folder with that source code and also put it into Antigravity and ask it how things are implemented. So of course it's going to be in C++, and it's going to be a bit harder than Python to say the least, but you could still do that and understand how Blender Python works, how geometry nodes work, how the animation system works. There's a bunch of things that you'll have to kind of dig around and understand because there's going to be programming concepts and all those things, but still you could maybe understand how something is done, or maybe there's a bug somewhere that you could try to understand and maybe work around. So here I've opened the Blender code, the Blender's source code, and I've asked it how is Blender Python implemented, and it literally does the same thing that I was doing with that add-on, but on Blender's code base. And it goes and analyzes the different parts of BPY and so on, and it gives me like a short summary. Now this short summary probably will have some issues and some concepts that it doesn't understand, maybe some tribal knowledge of the Blender developers, right? But it could give you a good start in understanding and maybe implementing something on your own, or even getting started with working and fixing things for Blender. So if you have examples that you like, please share them in the comments below. I would love to see how you're using AI coding assistants. Also, if you have questions about this or any other workflow around AI editing or just Blender Python in general, please join the community that I have on School. It's again the pinned comment right below. And as promised, so if you want to install the Blender extension for VS Code into Antigravity, you would need to do the following. So you need to first open VS Code that has that extension. So in the extensions, you need to find it here and then go ahead and right click on that and then say download VSIX. So this is like a zip file basically that contains the add-on that you could install into Antigravity. So you do that and then you save it into some place that that makes sense for you. Next in Antigravity, so you could go ahead and again open the extensions here. Now you won't find the Blender extension unfortunately because it's pointing at a different list of extensions that open VSX, but that's no issue because you can right click or you can click on this these dots right here and then install from VSX, and then you just point it at the file that you just downloaded, and that's it. It should install. Maybe some features might not work. I haven't tested everything, but I think the basic functionality does work. All right, if you're interested for more Blender Python videos, you could check out my channel. And also, I would highly recommend checking out this video right here that allows you to set up VS Code for Blender Python development if you're interested in a more in a deeper dive.